Hey guys, happy afternoon. It's Sunday, and I am going to start to tear down the 2.4 Sportomatic, the 73.5, the CIS fuel injection. I'm gonna do a little walk around first, tell you what I'm gonna do first, and I will also show you how to remove it, the pickup points and what to remove. All right, let's go for it. Okay, so on this end of the motor, you're going to loosen this one, take this bolt out. There's two in the back, this one here. And then you've got, on the side here, you have your wiring that goes to your electric panel. That just simply pops right off. This goes to the CD box, and that simply also pops right off. So you just get those out, fold them in there. On the fuel injection, we got the inlet that goes in the top of the filter, and the return, which is just returning, which goes to the metal tube coming out of the body of the car. On this particular model, that's all you have. You've got your heater. This only has a clamp on it. You just loosen that, lift it up, that comes off. Down here, you've got your throttle linkage right at the bottom there, your throttle linkage, you just pop that off. Then you got your bolts that come from the bottom up into the trans mount, right through into the body, two of those, right? Then your speedometer cable, and these come off really easily. It's a big thread, not a big deal. And then you've got a ground strap to the body. Very, very important to have that. And then this is your shift arm, what they call it, the hockey puck. This is a where your shift coupler goes. So this actually is inside the car. So that's all that is. And you got your battery cable. These wires will be hooked up here. And this is your solenoid wire. That's the starter. That's the 50 wire. That goes right onto there, on the top upper one. Then this was where your battery cable is. So you got to take this off, take the battery cable off. This harness here will also stay here. And this from here to here is only on a Sportomatic, okay? And then the other heater, so it's the heater, one on each side, and that's it. And then you've got your oil lines, which are, you have these two. Because of the Sportomatic, they will not be on the non-Sportomatic model, which would be the 5-speed. So you have this 36 millimeter to remove, and then off of the oil cooler, you got this one here. That's an S line, goes down here and goes to the oil tank. And that's pretty much it to disconnect this motor out of the car. So, and then there's one breather here that goes to the top of the oil tank neck there, okay? That's about all there is to it. So once you do all that, you can go ahead and lower this out, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead and disassemble this. What I'm gonna do first is I will take the transmission off. This is the linkage. This linkage is different. It's got a little curve here to get around this here on the Sportomatic. Otherwise, it would just be pretty much straight shot. So we're gonna take the trans off. I got these bolts on a torque converter. On a regular transmission, there's 4 bolts only, 2 on top, 2 on bottom, and then the trans will slide straight out. You can leave the starter motor on the trans if you want. You just take off this barrel nut, that will release it off the case of the motor. This here is just a push on a rubber square box right there that kind of lets the wiring go through to the trans. So that just pops straight up. And then you got a vent tube here. That stays on the motor for now. So we just take the trans, pull the trans out. Then the next thing I will do is I will take all of the tin. All this tinware will get out, will come out all the way around. And then the crossbar will take off. All the hardware that gets out of here will go into this box here. And all the distributor, the coil, the wires, the kind of the electrical portion of everything else will go into that box, okay? And then all the powder coating, the tinware, everything I'm gonna powder coat will go in that black in this box, which is going to have all the black parts, which are for powder coating. So in that box, we're going to put everything, all the tinware, and the trans mount will go in there. The starter will get cleaned up. That's working well, so we'll just clean that up and reuse that. But all the gold CAD plating will get out and get redone. So I'm not going to show. Oh, for fuel injection, we'll remove the 2 bolts that hold the intake out, and I'll pull the injectors out, and this whole unit will come off in one piece. That's the best way to do that, is just keep it all in one piece. You're going to have to undo the warm-up regulator. There's just 2 bolts there on the warm-up regulator, right there and there. So just leave all the fuel lines intact is the best way to do these. So, and before you disassemble everything, take lots of pictures of everything. Okay, so I'm just gonna show pictures of it coming apart. That's what I like to do. I don't want to get into, you guys know how to turn 10 millimeter wrenches. They're all over 13. So I don't want to get into that part of it, but I will show you stages as I go. I think that's the best way, okay? All right, cool, so let's start this thing. So I've got the motor, most of the engine torn down, and we ran into something I wanted to show you. It's kind of interesting. So this is all the tools I've used so far. Nothing special, just metric, really nothing unique, put it that way. Yeah, so nothing unique in there. So let's look at the motor. So this is what we found underneath the shroud. As you can see, the rats got in here and there's droppings everywhere. I vacuumed the top of the motor first. I took off everything I could. But in 1973, they actually had a shield right here that was part of the cover. That shield, as you can see, if you focus in here, Leah, you can see here, the oil cooler is completely clear. There's nothing on the oil cooler. So in the later years, they got rid of the plate that was here, and when you tore a motor down that the rats got into, this would be a prime spot where they pack it in, all in here. So that was kind of a cool thing about the 73. The half a year has it also. Anyhow, so I got to clean all this stuff out of here. I'm going to put some gloves on. You shouldn't touch any of this stuff barehanded anyway. But I'll put the gloves on and I'm going to take all this out of here. But here's a big problem. If you would have started this motor and actually thought it was good enough to run without checking it, you have all this stuff covering the cylinder. So it would overheat and you would end up doing really damage to the motor. And like I said, I've seen them where they pack all this cotton right on the top of the oil cooler. This is not like unusual. This happens a lot. They go through the fan and they hang out here. And this was really strange, as this car was supposedly stored inside. So it might have been outside for a little bit. The way this looks, I doubt that the garage was full of this. The way the exterior of the car looks, this is strange. Anyhow, another thing I found when I put in the fuel injectors right here, I put a picture in in a picture review of it. I got 3 shorter ones, 3 longer ones. I don't know which is correct. I'm gonna go with the shorter one. I imagine these are probably the longer ones that go into the aluminum intake manifolds, like in the 2.7 and the 3 liter. So the shorter one's harder to get. That's why they did this. Don't know. I'll find out about that. But sure enough, we're going to get the correct set for it. Nothing other than that. Nothing was weird so far. I am going to go ahead and pull the transmission now. We'll pull the trans off, and then I'll put the engine on a stand so we can rotate it and get the exhaust off of it. So I just wanted to share this with you, the rat housing. I guess that's what we call it. Anyways, all right, guys, I'll continue on. All right, guys, well, it was a long night. I got it all torn down. Everything's in parts, and I was able to got it down. I shared a lot of pictures, but let's go over it. I'll talk to you about the 2.4 and why I'm gonna split the case, and we'll do new bearings. I'm not really worried about the line bore on it. It rotates really nice. And on these cases, I have split them and put them back together reasonably quick without an issue. As long as it rotates with new bearings after you torque everything to specs, this case will be fine. So I think this is gonna be good. And for low mileage, I believe this is very low mileage car. At 42 is what it's showing on the clock. So there's a lot of hash marks in the cylinders. I had a broken ring. Let me go over it with you real quick. Okay. So here is all the parts. The cams are just in really nice condition. We might go with a 2021 grind from Webcam. These are the original CIS cams. So these here, the chain guides, strange deal. The brown one is in the wrong location. So the brown one only goes here. This is where it goes. And it was located in the chain box on this side. So the thing with the chain rails is they sit The two sit at different heights. I'll set them up here and we'll see if you can see that. You might be able to see that. So if you look at them, the gap right here is shorter than the gap right there, okay? That's the difference. So where that chainrail goes in the case, it is meant to have that difference of that height in there. So that's why one is brown and all the others are black. And that you can see that difference right there in the height difference. So that is the difference between the brown and the black, okay? Carrera chain tensioners don't look like they've been in there very long. The inside of this motor was incredibly clean. You can see the collapsible tubes. When I do a top end, I always get rid of these and go back to the solid original. So we'll be doing that. Pistons and cylinders, like I said, the hash marks in here are they're very deep. It's hard to show you in the video here, but let me see if I can. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, there you go. See the hash marks in that? Those are really, this is low mileage. That's why that's reading like that. There's no lip on the top. These are very cool. And they're all in very nice condition. The pistons are in great condition. This one here had a broken ring. It was just sitting there. As soon as I dropped the piston out, it popped right off. And this is the one that was leaking all our oil. Okay, that's the cylinders. And these are the 84 millimeter, the first of the CIS swirl top, which was designed to optimize the fuel at best possible. That's what this design was for. Okay, and so other than that, all the rockers are really in nice condition. The faces are nice. The bushings are, the bushings look really good. There's no weird wear on the bottom. So that's nice. So all these will all get cleaned up. The heads will go to, the heads are gonna go to the machine shop, and all of the seats were actually very, sealed really well. So that's good. I doubt I will need to have these fly cut at all, and so I can stay back at the original measurements on these heads to the case, which only had 1/10,000th shim, right? So this is original, so this is not gonna, shouldn't have had anything else in there because haven't had any work done. So anyhow, let's go to the Sportomatic. The Sportomatic is out. Everything's apart. We'll clean all this up. It did leak a lot of oil once I pulled the torque converter out. There's 4 torque converter bolts that hold it to the flex plate, which is over here. That's what the flex plate looks like. Right in that. So there's 4 bolts that hold that to the torque converter. That bolts to the crank. All right. So this box here is all the parts for the engine, the starter, the wiring, which is all in really nice condition. Alternator looks like it might have been replaced also, or it's just really clean, and it seems like it's going to be okay. We'll use it. Hopefully we get the light to work right. The fan shroud is in incredible condition. It's not beat up. It's not, dried out like if it's been in, tons of mileage. You did see the rat nest in there. In the pictures, that was not like I said, not a surprise, but that's what it was. And this is all the CAD plating. You recognize all this stuff in here. This is all going to get redone in gold, CAD plating. I still have a few more things in another box over here that I will add to this box. And this is all my powder coating, transmount, all the tinware, the air deflectors. Those will all get done, and then we'll do the air deflector modification on those also when I rebuild, when I assemble everything. The injection, very, very nice, very clean, very happy with it. I am gonna get the tubes redone. This one has a little bit of rust right in there, a little surface rust, so I wanna clean those up. I don't know if I'll powder coat them or just paint them. Exhaust system is full of oil. These are pretty beat up. We're gonna go with the SSIs on this, on the stainless setup. At this point, we might as well. Muffler is full of oil. Now, you can see how wet that is there. But what happens with the mufflers is the, you wanna work on a muffler? Not right now, huh? So the muffler gets oil in there, and inside the muffler, it has like a, it's almost like a steel wool, and it holds the oil, and as soon as you start it up, it's gonna smoke like crazy. I've cleaned them out with gas before and then tied to try to get that stuff out of there to save a decent muffler, but it just smokes, it takes way too long to clear out. So that's gonna get replaced also, okay? I think of what else we got. So let's go to the case. So on the case, the hardware up on top is a little rusty from the rats living in there for a little while. They pee on everything and mess things up. So we're gonna split this case. What I don't like about the case, this is, you can see it's dry up here. The landing is dry, but on the number 8 bearing here, it's sweating, it's leaking, and it's all wet straight down. So the only way to fix that leak is to split the case on it. And anyhow, besides that, on the bottom, you can see, let me see if I can flip this over. There we go. On the bottom, they had put silicone on this edge here, like this, and then across here, and you can see, Chloe, don't slip in the oil. Here, they put silicone on it, and I believe it's from the outside, so I don't think they didn't build it. It wasn't built before, so, and you can see it's almost looks like it's leaking right there. So that's the other reason I'm gonna go ahead and split this case and reseal it, is what I want to do, and then we'll run new hardware and all that, of course. So you can see the original seal, the white. Let me see. We got a mess in the garage. But anyways, that's what's going on. There's really nothing else that I can talk to you about on the case, other than it was leaking kind of everywhere. The oil cooler it was very dirty, but it didn't seem to be leaking in the fin area inside. So that's going to get pressure checked and cleaned. Of course, all this is going to ollies. The timing covers for the corrode tensioners get done. Chain boxes, everything is just really wet and dirty. The cam towers will get serviced, and by servicing, they remove the oil tube that's in there, and then they clean the whole thing out and reinsert the oil tube, make sure that's got good flow of oil. So anyhow, so that is my wrap up on this engine teardown. Like I said, I'm going to split the case, and I show pictures of the process of tearing it down. It's just disassembly and pulling apart. There's really nothing tricky to any part of this. If you're going to tackle this yourself, you can always contact me through YouTube, and if you have any questions, if you're going to tackle something like this, like I said, the heads my guess is they're not going to need to be fly cut, which is nice. Then you can build with the original shims and go from there. Keep everything the way it was. The only modification we might do is the camshafts. I'm going to call Faith over at Webcam. They've been great with me, and I'll find out if I'm going to get a decent advantage of using the 21 grand, which I think I will. So that's probably something we're going to do. The SSI exhaust, a new muffler, and this thing's going to be a sweet little ride. So anyhow, okay guys, thanks for following this video. I know it's going to be a little bit on the long side, but the channel's doing so great. I'm very impressed with how everything's going. I really appreciate you guys checking everything out. And like I said, if you need any help with anything, let me know. I'll do a video on it. I've got a lot of stuff around here. If you need, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Anything with a Porsche, let me know what you might need to see, or if you want me to share something. So, or I wouldn't even mind sharing your guys' cars, your rides, whatever I can do. The channel's is getting really exciting, and it's kind of an open door now what I can do now that we're part of the YouTube team, so pretty cool. Anyhow, I will catch you in the next video. Thanks for looking at this one, and I will give you an update when we start to build this guy. All right, very cool. Bye, guys. Chloe.